say, and
the major
let's
social
go.
media trial that is taking place in the United States. The tech giant Meta is accused of deliberately designing some of its platforms to be addictive to its young users. Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, is also accused of misleading the public. Meta strongly denies the claims, which it called unsubstantiated. They said the evidence will show their long-standing
I see this brother in
commitment to
more suits for
supporting young
trials
people.
than I
But
see
if they
any
lose,
other
the trial could cost the
CEO. Oh
company
my goodness.
hundreds of billions of dollars.
Wait,
But if they lose, the trial could cost the company hundreds of billions of dollars. Joining me is
what
our
will
senior
poor
technology
Zuckerberg do
reporter,
if he
Chris
lost a few
Valens. Chris,
billion?
why is this trial taking place?
Well, I think around the world we've seen growing concern about the impact of social media on children, and that
Primarily
has
because
certainly
of
been a very active
Twitter
and in many cases
and Mr.
bipartisan
Musk
debate in the US.
probably
In
at the
this
forefront.
case, what we're seeing is, in a sense, a sort of a new high watermark in that challenge as it goes through the courts.
And the
with
guardrails, I do agree, there
29
needs to be some.
US states involved in this legal action, which effectively
Oh,
says
wow.
that Meta's product was, if you like, faulty by design. There were features in it that were designed to be addictive and were harmful to the company's most vulnerable users, in this case, children. These are, of course, claims that Meta strongly denies and will fight strongly in court.
Well, the trial stems from a lawsuit filed in 2023. Dozens of US states filed the federal lawsuit. They allege that Meta incorporated harmful features on Instagram and Facebook to drive engagement among young users, to boost profits, and then misled the public about it. This trial, which is set to last for 6 weeks, features 4 of those US states as plaintiffs. So that's California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey. They want Meta to change the algorithms and to end autoplay. We'll have more on that shortly. But this isn't the first trial against social media companies. Our technology correspondent, Lily Jamali,
Yeah, this is one of many.
A high-profile trial in Los Angeles this year, where a jury granted a 20-year-old California woman $6 million on claims Instagram and Google's YouTube harmed her mental health. And in New Mexico, the Attorney General recently convinced a jury Meta deliberately endangered children, prompting nearly $1 billion in fines. Meta is appealing, but a judge has ordered more rigorous age rules and a stop to overnight push notifications for users under 18.
Chris is still with us. Chris, there have been other lawsuits
Yeah,
that Meta have faced.
I think we can get to that point.
What
Yeah.
makes this one different?
Well, I mean, this comes less than 2 weeks after one of those lawsuits in which a court in New Mexico, the judge there described the platform, the company's products as, if you like, a public nuisance.
I'm
like
still
air
on the fence on
pollution.
how
I think with this
I
case,
would
you've got
going to.
a similar kind of logic. It's a product
No,
safety issue, if you like, but the stakes are
I kinda
so
know what I'm gonna
much
do.
higher. I mean,
I will be a little
Meta
bit
is
strict
trying
for the
to claim
first.
that,
I'll say
you know, the potential cost,
at least
the
until my
potential fines
children
could
are
run,
like 12,
to
15. I'm be
$1.4
honest.
trillion. The
I-
attorney generals, the states,
Definitely not
put
using
that
it
a much
for
lower
sure,
figure,
100%.
200 billion.
No.
But
no,
either
no.
way, the changes to the platform and the potential fines mean that, you know, even if it's not an existential
But
issue,
even like
it's likely
this
to
certain social
change the
media is probably
company.
just
And
like
if it
unless it can be
loses,
regulated
This is a case that involves US.
and not regulated to like what I want them to see, just regulated towards like there should be some learning. Like they should be seeing different facets of other regions. Maybe obviously, if you have different opinions, that's fine. Like there's a few sections online. A lot of it is spam and slop, but you'll have some people sharing really good things. There's some informative things. Obviously, there's like a lot of serious topics. A child's mind, who knows if they could be really mature and you want to inform them early on certain things, but probably not. Like they have at least middle school, they need to have some like structure on how to navigate social media. And if you were, because a lot of kids these days are trying to use social media to get themselves a following, so like how does that look? Because I I'm a big advocate for whatever you're doing in the future, you need a platform to just be a part of that journey. So I'm probably going to eat my words and eventually say, how do we find the middle ground? But
States, but it's worth
I'll
saying
figure
that
that out.
countries have also tried to legislate against these social media companies. Let's take you through some of them. In December 2025, Australia became the world's first country to ban social media for children under
I'll be
16,
honest, I agree
blocking
with
them
this.
from platforms including TikTok, YouTube, and Meta's Instagram and Facebook.
I agree with this. I'm
In
sorry.
June of this year, the then Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, announced plans to approve a ban on social media for under 16s here in the UK by Christmas, with the measure set to take effect around spring 2027. In the same month, Canada proposed a social media ban for children and teenagers under the age of 16, with a workaround for tech firms. They have to demonstrate that they have policies in place to minimise harms to minors. In August, France's top court blocked a bill banning social media access for under 15s, saying it infringed upon freedom of expression. France's parliament had approved the ban in July amid growing concerns about online bullying and mental health risks. Chris, why are some countries bringing in these bans, do you think?
Well, again, I think it really follows from this concern and the degree of popular concern that there is about the impact of these platforms on child's well-being, on children's well-being.
Yeah.
I think the interesting question is we're seeing
Twitter.
these bans brought
Mainly.
into force around the world. They're very different in flavor in many
For TikTok,
cases.
they
There are a lot
wanted
of
to ban it
unanswered
for other
questions.
reasons, but
And
there
in
was no
some
real reason
respects,
to
the
ban
best
TikTok.
evidence for whether these
At
bans
least
work or not will be the bans
I
themselves.
could understand it.
So there's certainly a widespread global move in this direction.
And do you think they are effective?
I think from what we see, they certainly do result in the removal of hundreds of thousands of accounts from children. But the evidence from the first place to sort of introduce one of these bans, Australia, is that there's also quite a degree of circumvention. Now, as I've said, it's a work in progress, and there are different approaches and different standards, different strengths of rule, if you like. But that's certainly going to be a question of the effectiveness of all this, given that it does deprive children of something that they find, in many cases, valuable and rewarding.
Well, guess what? In other cultures, I mean, I don't know, China, everywhere in the sea, that it remotely resembles like what they believe is not strict, but just structured households. Like these kids are mastering skills at like age 6 that me now are getting accustomed to. Obviously, like not everything, but I wouldn't say that extreme. But yeah, like if I could do it, I would probably say structure, just having them not just in books, but just like aware of skills, languages, like, I mean, critical thinking, obviously, of course, and then just like hearing, if they occasionally do like hear a different type of opinions, just allowing them to hear that, that's fine. And I think that works. I do like that, because games, cartoons, the disinterest in like the more static topics, and then only to like want to get an interest now because I kind of need to like completely change things around, like, and then to wait so long. Granted, I did waste a lot of years, so that's on me. But like limited media exposure, but substituted with, I mean, just like actually structure, being there, playing with your child, instructing them on just like wisdom, life lessons, skills. Like we need to be future proofing the youth. That's the main thing. That's how you fight back against, like, I would say, bad actors who are looking to like hoping that the next generation is probably just not up to par. You gotta combat that with ensuring that they are, and it starts with your kids and your household. So, which means you have to become that as well. I'm LARPing,
Boarding.
but
Well, if Meta loses, it could force fundamental changes to the way young people experience.
I do
social media.
think some
Our
losses
reporter
are in order
Ben
for a lot of
Henry
these
has been
big
looking at
companies.
that.
The states want
Not even
changes to
close
some
to what they
fundamental
deserve, but
features on
I think
Facebook and Instagram, like
appropriately,
stories and
this
like
is
counts.
fine if they
And
lose.
they want changes to the algorithm.
But I
to
think
see
they'll
an
likely
end
have to change it
to
either way.
infinite scrolling.
What's your sort of screen time in an average week, would you say?
In a week, it's probably like 6 hours a day.
Yeah, I like stories because I like that they're not up there forever. There should be an end to the scroll, but also I don't know if it would really work. I feel like people would find something else because then you've got TikTok and like other things would just introduce the scroll. I can't think of one thing that it's good for.
I think more controls would definitely make it better because like when it comes to me, I've always been on social media for a very long time, but I recently started realizing how much of myself I'm putting out there.
A lot of my friends have also kind of like stopped using Instagram so much because it was kind of like taking over their lives. It's been a kind of conscious decision, I think, to kind of like wind down that sort of interaction.
Right now, this
Again,
case
it's different for
is
me because
just
I want to
in the
upload,
US,
but even
its
me, I'm
outcome
trying to
will
figure out
likely
maybe
have
more
ramifications
quality
around
and
the world.
quantity can work at
Thanks to Ben.
times.
We'll have to see
so,
how this case unfolds, of course. But Chris,
Agreed.
how likely do you think it is that Meta might want to get rid of some of these features to avoid further lawsuits?
I think we've seen incremental changes from Meta as indeed this debate has continued, and they can point to a whole bunch of things they've done across their platforms to improve child safety and to improve
there are some good
parental
features
controls.
to give a lot more of the
But
adult
on the
figures
other hand,
control.
what this lawsuit is asking are changes to things that are really quite fundamental to the way social media businesses work. I mean, changes potentially to the algorithm, to likes, to the way video works. These are all things that, in a sense...
On the flip side, you'll say, well, Tim, you want to possibly have your kids involved in social media early. There's a kid, Nitro Camden, who is going to be really successful. Well, but he's 18, so that doesn't count. But like, there was a lot of young kids, and you're saying, well, that takes opportunity away from them. Well, there's ways you can get around that, obviously, because let's say if you are the one that has the media, and obviously you're the adult, then that's fair because you're hopefully involving your kid in projects and things that you yourself would be in, you yourself would feel proud of. That's one way. There's a way you can build an account for them, maybe monitor what goes there and who is interacting with it, and still have them focusing on I'm telling y'all, listen, the multiple languages, multiple skills before the age of 20 is the new way to go. I don't know if you guys, that might not be news, but I'm telling you, that's going to be the new standard. Multiple languages, multiple skills before you graduate. We're talking like getting super ahead. Obviously, there's people that get lucky, and we're talking looking at certain industries, but you have those two, and you can get lucky, or you can just outgrind everyone else. I like those odds much better. And then you'll probably have found a route for your kids that's far more ethical and like doing it the right way plus the hard work. I don't know. I like this. I'm gonna be honest. Before I was like, no, too much restriction. I'm like, nope. I see what that freedom does over in the States. I am not too fond of it in its entirety, so I do like that they are willing to make changes and could be penalized if they don't accommodate like the demands of all the figures, the parent figures. So I like that. That's really good.
Make money.
So it actually means that people can be held accountable.
We may
That's
see
actually
some
not bad.
movement, but I think other changes that this legislation, this court case proposes, they may be harder for social media firms to swallow.
Chris Vallance, thank you for your insight.
Great absolutely. That was a fantastic